Welcome to America, guys. In this video, I'm going to look at vegetarians. My partner is vegetarian. She's been here a few times, and I always think America's got choice and, you know, they do everything. And, you know, she went to McDonald's, asked what they had for vegetarians, and was told a chicken sandwich. Just let that sink in for a little second. So in this video, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going around all the different parks, etc., and I'm going to document what we find. Now, obviously, I can't visit every food eatery, but the ones we go to, we'll see what options they have. Any that we have to skip because they have zero options. So yeah, let's see how vegetarian friendly Orlando is. Starting with last night, where we were in Magic Kingdom. Okay, so first option, came into Magic Kingdom, went to Casey's Corner, whatever it was. Place is absolute pandemonium, it's just an absolute shambles. However, they do have plant-based, so there is at least an option. First place we looked, which is a small saving grace. It is the most plain and boring hot dog I've ever seen, but first place we found supports vegetarian. Ta-da! Let's see what else we can find. Well, there's our first fail. The launching pad at the People Mover. Absolutely nothing if you're vegetarian. So, yeah. I was hoping that everywhere we went we'd find something. They have zero selection. I thought maybe it was just the boards weren't telling me. I tried the mobile ordering. There's nothing for vegetarians. Onwards we go. Okay, so we had more luck here in Starlight's Cosmic Ray Cafe. They've got a plant-based thing. A patty melt thing. Looks like it looks like a toasted sandwich. I'm just stalling whilst Carly takes it out of the tin foil. But the good thing is they do have an option. So, yeah. Indeed. But you know what? It's a plant-based option. So if you are a vegetarian, Starlight Cafe, they got you covered. Okay, so next one, we stop for a little break, just like a coffee, in Gaston's, and if you want a sweet treat, you're fine, because they've got a cinnamon roll, like, it's the size of my head, and they've got a cupcake. But if you are vegetarian and you want something savoury, they have a ham and cheese roll, baguette, bagel thing. That's it. So if you're veggie and you've got a sweet tooth, come to Tampa and come to Gaston's. If you're veggie and you've got a savoury too, keep going. Okay, so we just went looking for dinner, and the first place we tried that does fajitas and stuff, I'll find the name and I'll put it on screen. Yeah, they did have some veggie options. It was veggie rice and stuff. So we could have went there, but none of that appealed. So we're now in Columbian Harbour, and what you just saw at the start there is a plant-based crab cake? I mean, I don't know. Might be alright, but at least there's options. So both places that we tried did have plant-based options. So that's it. That's a good sign. Okay, so good news. We are in the Sci-Fi Diner place, the one where you sit in cars. Got a last minute reservation, and they have a plant-based burger and plant-based nachos. So, and pasta as well. So this has actually got quite a good selection. Want to add to your list? Follow on. That's probably the best food we've had. Certainly from a vegetarian point of view, the veggie nachos, the pasta, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. So if you're a vegetarian, definitely try out the Sci-Fi dining experience. It was great. So we're in Galaxy's Edge, we're in Docking Bay 7 I think it is, and they have Impossible meatballs with hummus. So we're over by Tower of Terror Rock and Roller Coaster, and the selection for veggies over here is absolutely atrocious. They've got a bit that has burgers, but they don't have a plant-based burger. They've got this weird lobster roll thing, which looks absolutely disgusting. They do have pizzas. They did have a noodles thing with fake chicken. So I suppose there are options. Maybe my partner's just fussy, but definitely there are more places with no choices than places with choices. So if you're a fussy eater and you're vegetarian, French fry. So we're in Animal Kingdom and we came to Yak and Yeti, which has a ton of options for vegetarians. So definitely give this one a choice. There's an invisible burger. No, there's an impossible burger. There is vegetable chow mein and a few other things. I've given the menu back, so I can't actually check, but there definitely are options here. It is difficult to get a space, so reserve in advance. We managed to rock up and get like a 40-minute wait. It's now up to like an hour and a bit wait. So definitely, if you are coming here and you're interested, get a reservation in. Okay, so tons of food options at EPCOT. Not really if you're a fussy veggie eater. There's been some steamed buns, there's a jackfruit burger, and some vegetable noodles. Everything is for meat eaters. Really not a huge choice. As I say, there are a couple of options, but if you are a fussy eater, nope. You're gonna struggle. We still not found anything. Wish me luck. EPCOT seems to be doing okay. We're in China in the Lotus Blossom Cafe, and they've got a vegetable stir fry. So we're finishing off in EPCOT again in the Connections Eatery, just next to the big golf ball out on the way in. They do have a vegetarian salad. It's massive. So if you like a big salad, they've got you covered. So we're in Disney Springs, we had nothing planned, so a bit of a last minute one. We went and we only looked at places that had reservations, but the options were pretty slim. So as always with Disney Springs, if you're going to book one of the restaurants, I recommend you book. But in terms of vegetarian, what we had on offer was kind of slim pickings. I'm kind of surprised, really wanted to go for Rainforest Cafe, nothing there. There's a few other places Carly checked, again, nothing. We're now in Paradiso's, and they have a plant burger, so we did find something. But I think potentially if we booked further in advance, we'd have better selection. But yeah, I'm genuinely amazed at how little options there are for vegetarians. Like everything is just meat. So if you are coming here and you're vegetarian, plan ahead. You have to plan ahead. Back in Disney Springs again, we do have a reservation for later. But this place, Earl Sandwich, does have a veggie option, does have tater tots, but yeah, a couple of options, but salad? Still not fresh. So we're in Disney Springs again, and this time we're in the paddlefish, big giant steamboat, which kind of surprised actually. I mean, it is obviously heavily seafood and meat, but they do have a vegetarian pasta. So if you like linguine, garlic, olive oil, and market vegetables, you're sorted. Okay, so we're in Busch Gardens. We've been having a bit of a nightmare to try and find food because we didn't have breakfast and apparently nothing open until about 11 o'clock, so we're now having lunch instead. However, on a positive note for vegetarians, we're in the dragon fire thing. You'll find it. They've got a chicken section, obviously not vegetarian. They've got a Mexican section with plant-based chorizo. They have an Impossible Burger, and then they've even got an Asian section with like vegetable stir fry and stuff. So actually, despite the fact I struggled to find food full stop, their vegetarian selection is not bad. Other places we've looked at, not so much. But this one, there's 2 or 3 options here, so happy days. We're in SeaWorld, we are in the sharks thing, you can probably tell. On the face of it, there is nothing for vegetarians unless you're a kid. Which I'll be honest, I'm seeing a recurring theme here. It's like It's almost like they expect kids to be vegetarian, but grown-ups eat meat. Because we've seen plant-based nuggets for kids. Anyway, they are allowing us to have vegetable pasta, vegetarian pasta, even though it's not explicitly on the menu. So you should be okay. No guarantees though, because it's not officially on the menu. So we're at a little stand just next to Kong, and they do have hot dogs, but they don't have plant-based hot dogs. So they have a pretzel. Well, this is a good start. We are in Universal Studios, and the first place we tried a little Canada Hut thing back there. I don't know if it's temporary or not, but they had poutine. So I got like the bacon poutine, but they also had vegan mushroom poutine. So yay! So we're in Mel's Diner, and they have a bunch of options that are suitable for vegetarians. They've got a vegetarian chili dog, they've got vegetarian chili cheese fries. So yeah, and I'm sure there's a few other things as well. So Mel's Diner, they got you covered. Okay, so we're on City Walk, and we've just had dinner in the Mexican and Antojitos? Probably not how you say it. Fantastic food, probably one of the better foods we've had the whole trip, and a fantastic selection for vegetarians as well. Vegetarian starters, multiple vegetarian mains. So hats off to Universal. That is a cracking restaurant and perfect if you are a vegetarian. So we're in Hard Rock, and they've got a couple of options, not a huge amount. They have veg fajitas, and they also have an Impossible Burger. Not surprisingly, most things are not. Most things are meat. There is a spring pasta, but it's got parmesan in it, so you know, if you're avoiding anything made with animals, you're vegan. Nope. Okay, so we're in IHOP, and tons of options if you're vegetarian. We've got all the pancakes, avocado toast, various other things. One weird thing, or one thing to be aware is they don't take Apple Pay. I mean, coming from the UK where everything's contactless, finding somewhere that doesn't do contactless and doesn't do Apple Pay is odd. So just be aware if you're going to go to an IHOP, you're going to need an actual card or cash, because they're still stuck in the 90s. I am slightly in shock. We are at the mall at Millennia in the food court upstairs, and where is it? That little place there, chickpeas, falafel. First time I've seen falafel over here. Falafel wrap. Happy days. So we're back at Mall of Millennia, and we're in Earl's Bar and Kitchen. They have a whole page dedicated to vegans. Tons of choice. So this one's perfect for you. You're at the mall. Come here.
Okay, so we're in the giant McDonald's on International Drive, and as predicted, it is terrible. Absolutely nothing. You can have a hash brown, you could have scrambled egg, you could have oatmeal, and it's a million options if you eat meat. Actually gobsmacked at how bad this country is for vegetarians. Slight amendment after going back and double checking the menu. They do have pancakes. Still, oh, hotcakes, which I'm guessing are pancakes of some description. Long story short, their selection is terrible.
Back in the largest McDonald's again, this time not for breakfast, and there are options for vegetarians. Zero! You can have a pizza, you can have some chips. Or pasta. You can't actually get a McDonald's if you're vegetarian. They have zero vegetarian options. Like, biggest McDonald's, terrible selection. So, I'm obviously back home now from my trip to Florida. What's the conclusions from this video then? Well, I think we did obviously find a number of places, as you've seen throughout this video, that did cater for vegetarians, but it is definitely not what we're used to here in the UK, and probably the rest of Europe and indeed further afield, where everywhere has a vegetarian option. Now, it might only be one thing on the menu. Like, you tend not to get the same variety as you do if you're a meat eater, but they've always got you covered. And what I found in Florida was, sure, that's true in some places, but there were several places we went to where there was no choice. And it was bizarre to find that in the big places like Disney. Like, some of the restaurants were fine. Others did not have any options, same in Universal. So they're not even consistent within the parks themselves. So in conclusion, you will find food. You might be eating a lot of chips or French fries if you're American. Although if you're American, you're probably not vegetarian. From what I've seen, it doesn't seem to be a thing. I did also notice, or initially got a bit curious, because there was a legislation just popped up about Florida banning fake meat. Turns out it's lab-grown meat, not plant-based. So, because I did think that was them trying to get rid of like the Impossible Burgers, which, you know, was probably the most common thing we found over there. But yeah, as I say, we did find food. It's not like my partner starved for the 2 weeks we were over there, but it certainly wasn't the same level that you have here. It was odd to find that they would have like children's plant-based nuggets, but nothing for adults. So it's like, what, do you expect children to be vegetarian, but the current generation isn't? It was very odd. So you will find stuff. It is limited. You're certainly not going to get the same range that you're used to in other countries around the world. As I say, you might be eating a lot of chips, but you know, you'll find a pasta somewhere. It was weird as well that some places there was nothing officially on the menu, but if you asked, they're like, sure, we can make you a vegetable pasta or whatever it was. So it's almost like they don't want to advertise they sell vegetarian options. So anyway, if you've been to all the parks and all the places that I mentioned in this video, share your experience below for others. As I said, certainly in the big parks, we did not go to every outlet. Like, we only went to a handful of places. Hopefully a decent representation though, and it was very much ad hoc. There was no planning. I didn't look at menus in advance. We didn't plan to go to certain places. It was like, I'm hungry, what's near, do they have options? So it was basically trying to say, can you wing it effectively? And you can. I mean, if you are going to plan it and sort of look in advance, you probably would have a smoother journey, but I intentionally didn't do that. So as I say, if you've done this, if you've been in Florida and you have gone for vegetarian options, share them below. Obviously menus are always changing, so I'm sure some things that were there may not be there anymore, and vice versa, some new stuff comes up. But anyway, if you found this useful, hit that like button, share it with a friend. I have been Chris, you've been watching Coaster Dad. See you in the next one.